A very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live as we round off Matchday 24 in the Premier League with a London derby at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea take on West Ham United. 8 o'clock kickoff here on LFS. About 9 minutes away from kickoff there at the Bridge. Already this weekend, some big scorelines around the grounds. Forest putting 7 past Brighton. Liverpool making it an extension, still 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League with their 2-0 win over Bournemouth. Third consecutive win for Everton over Leicester against Leicester for David Moyes. Southampton coming from behind to beat Ipswich. Fulham coming from behind to beat Newcastle. Wolves 2-0 winners against Villa. 2-0 victories for Spurs and Palace on the road, and a massive thumping of Manchester City at the hands of Arsenal yesterday in that 5-1 thriller at the Emirates. It's been a cracking Premier League weekend, and there's no better way to round it off than a derby at a side that in Chelsea who would love to jump into the top 4 tonight. They can do that with a win this evening. A draw would also get them a top 4 position come the end of this weekend. West Ham, they can jump up the table. They can go above Tottenham and Manchester United tonight with a victory away at Chelsea. But it is not just a Monday Night Football. It's not the end of the Premier League weekend. It is transfer deadline day today. And the deadline in the UK and England closes in at 11 o'clock tonight. So we will have the final hours of the window here with us this evening on LFS. We're looking forward to bringing you some big headlines, some big news this evening. And we have some interesting headlines to bring you from today's action in the transfer deadline day. These are the headlines from this afternoon. Bayern Munich's Matthias Tell, he's in London, conducting a medical ahead of a move to Tottenham. Now, it was just a couple of days ago Matthias Tell said that he wasn't joining Tottenham. Under no circumstances was he joining Tottenham. Well, 3 days later, he is joining Tottenham, and that announcement to be made at some point before the deadline there. Some news involving Chelsea. João Felix joining AC Milan on loan from Chelsea for the remainder of the season. Some interesting news for Manchester City. Nico Gonzalez could be joining Manchester City from Porto, according to reports. He is currently having a medical before joining Manchester City, so that would be another big signing for City in the January window. Crystal Palace have rejected a £70 million bid from Tottenham for Mark Guehi, so they're holding on to their centre-back and their captain, Palace, come the end of this window. There's some interesting news involving Palace as well. Rob Holding could be on the move to Sheffield United this afternoon, and Jeffrey Schlupp could be out the door as he is joining Celtic on loan until the remainder of the season. And West Ham have signed Evan Ferguson on loan from Brighton, as you can see there, the Republic of Ireland international on the right hand side of your screen. But the big breaking news that we've had in the last few minutes, in the last 30 minutes or so, is this. Now, this is a fantastic story. We'll get you this. Aston Villa have signed Marco Asensio on loan from PSG until the end of the season. And that is a huge story. Aston Villa, of course, selling John Duran in this window, possibly even looking to sell Ollie Watkins to Arsenal, but that deal not agreed. They, of course, signed Marcus Rashford for Manchester United on loan last night, and now they've got Marco Asensio till the end of the season. Aston Villa in a good position and bolstering their squad to further their hopes of progressing in not only the Champions League, but also getting to the deep edges in the Premier League and trying to get into the top 6 at the very least for Aston Villa this season. We'll bring you breaking news right throughout tonight when it breaks, because we have so much to talk about and so much to really talk about concerning these two clubs, Chelsea and West Ham United. Different ends of the table at the moment. Chelsea had some title talk for a while. West Ham might have been in a relegation battle for a while. They've kind of not necessarily met in the middle, but they've kind of frayed the edges of both of those kind of expectations, and we'll see how they do tonight when they face off against each other. Chelsea and West Ham at Stamford Bridge is on the way in just a moment. Do stay with us here on Premier League Live.
Call me a god. They call me a god.
I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome to Premier League Live this evening as we round off Matchday 24 with a Monday night clash under the lights at Stamford Bridge in a London derby between Chelsea and West Ham United. We're looking forward to this one. Chelsea, a chance to get into the top four this evening. West Ham, a chance to go above Spurs and Manchester United to the almighty 13th place. That's as high as West Ham can go tonight and go above those two huge clubs who had differing results this weekend. Of course, there's some big breaking news coming into us that concerns Chelsea, that Borussia Dortmund have confirmed the signing of Carney Chukwuemeka on loan from Chelsea. So another one out the door for Chelsea. They're getting their business done on deadline day, and they want to get their business done on the pitch here this evening, and looking for, as I said, a top four place to round off the weekends. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this one, starting with the home side, and some interesting news in goal. In that, Philip Jorgensen starts in goal. Robert Sanchez drops to the bench. Captain Reece James at right back. Tosin and Colwell, the centre-backs. And Marc Cucurella at left back. In the defensive midfield, Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are the two. Cole Palmer in the 10. On the right wing is Noni Madueke. On the left wing, Jadon Sancho. And leading the line, Nicholas Jackson. As I said, on the bench for Chelsea, Robert Sanchez, Chalobah, Achiampong, Gusto, Dewsbury Hall, George, Neto, Nkunku and Gui. For Graham Potter's West Ham United have had a mixed bag of results since Graham Potter took charge. Only his fifth game in charge, and he faces his former club in Chelsea, who he managed. The shortest term of a Chelsea manager was Graham Potter. Alphonse Areola starts in goal. A back three / back five, of Wan-Bissaka, Sofal, Kilman, Cresswell and Emerson. A midfield two of Irving and Soucek. Carlos Soler is further forward alongside Mohamed Kudus. And one welcome return for their captain for West Ham, Jared Bowen, who leads the line for the Hammers this evening. On the bench for West Ham United, Fabianski, Foderingham, Mavropanos, Casey, Guilherme Rodriguez, Scarles, Orford and Danny Ings on the bench this evening. Two sides well acquainted, know each other very well, and these parts, it's all about bragging rights. Chelsea against West Ham United. Kick-off to round off Matchday 24 is on the way next. Very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live this evening from the Bridge, where, as I say, two sides at the moment. A bit of a mixed bag as of recently from what we've seen from these two teams, but tonight can be a chance to move themselves up the table if they can get that desired 3 points this evening. West Ham welcome back their talisman, their main man, Jared Bowen this evening. What impact could he have on West Ham United this evening? But Chelsea, well, they've got quality and they don't quite have the consistency at the moment after that defeat to Manchester City last week, but they'll want to bounce back from that defeat and overtake Manchester City this evening in the table. Graham Potter won 7 of his 22 Premier League games as the Chelsea head coach, the shortest spell of a Chelsea manager in the Premier League era, and that's saying something considering Chelsea's records. As we're underway, Cole Palmer gets us going in this London derby this evening. Looking forward to this one. Looking forward to see what actually will come from these two sides tonight, on what they will offer on the field. As an early free kick here for West Ham, taken quickly. Here is Wan-Bissaka. Oh, All the way back now for West Ham to Areola, who's almost closed down there by Jackson. Our referee this evening, by the way, Stuart Atwell. Our VAR is Michael Salisbury. We'll see whether they will need to be massively entertained at VAR this evening. Let's hope not. Let's hope it's just a smooth, nice game to watch this evening. Kudus trying to flick it forward for Bowen. Nicely intercepted by Caicedo. Here's Colwell. And all the way back to that man in the Chelsea goal. Not used to being in the Chelsea goal. Philip Jorgensen, 22-year-old Dane. Joined Chelsea for £20 million from Villarreal in the summer of 2024. Has just made 2 Premier League starts this season against Southampton and against Ipswich, both in December. And both games, by the way, for Chelsea, I believe, if I'm correct in saying this, that they won both of those games. No, they didn't. They didn't win the Ipswich game, but they did win the Southampton game by 5-1 for that one. Interesting to see how Philip Jorgensen does tonight. It's a move in behind there from Jackson. Wins the throw-in on the far right side. Here is Enzo Fernandez. Finding James. Infield to Caicedo. Now across to Colwell. Chelsea looking to get out a bit of early possession. Get their passing going. Early doors. Long ball up the left channel towards Sancho. Well blocked off by Wan-Bissaka, former teammates of course at Manchester United. So here's Bowen, chests the ball down, shakes off Caicedo. Here's Jared Bowen, trying to squeeze it through for the runner Carlos Soler there, well blocked off. Emerson gets it back wide, and Bowen tries to curl it back into the box. So checks header, and Soler's effort is well off target. No real worries on that occasion, but Jared Bowen starting to cause early problems. Maybe testing this Chelsea back line. He will be a real handful tonight, Jared Bowen. Was injured for the vast majority of the last month and a half. Got injured in that game against Liverpool, where West Ham were absolutely thumped by 5-0 at the London Stadium. Making his first appearance since that game this evening. And interestingly, by that Liverpool game, the 4 previous games that Jared Bowen played in for West Ham, they were unbeaten in those games. Southampton, Brighton, Bournemouth and Wolves, 2 wins and 2 draws in that recent form for Jared Bowen. He did score that winning goal away at Southampton and scored against Wolves as well. Seems to be a real talismanic figure at West Ham this season, and you know, we've talked about maybe the over-reliance on Mikel Antonio over the years for West Ham and whether they do have that extra body and whether it's actually kind of sometimes they're too reliant on a striker that isn't fit half the time. And of course Mikel Antonio, a very different situation with him at the moment after that incident, the car crash a few weeks ago. But for Jared Bowen, since we've seen him kind of take that centre forward role, quite symbolically, he's become the star man. You know, we talk about teams and have their star man as their striker. Jared Bowen was a great player for West Ham. He was incredibly important to them, but it was always the shining light of, there's the focal point. Mikel Antonio's our man. Mikel Antonio will get us out of trouble. But as soon as we've seen Jared Bowen kind of slide into this more central role, into a more centre-forward position for West Ham, which a lot of people said that he couldn't play, we've seen that more leadership kind of traits come out from Jared Bowen, and it's actually been really impressive to see a player develop in such a way, especially for a club like West Ham, who kind of need that talismanic figure at times to carry them through. But they do have no shortage of quality, West Ham. There's no doubt about that. Here's Jadon Sancho up against Wan-Bissaka. Sancho on his right. Curls it low. Well defended in there by Sofal. And Bowen trying to carry it out of danger. Kudus gets caught on the ball, but wins it back in space. I try to dribble his way through, and the last touch came off. It seemed to have actually come off the Chelsea player initially there. They have given Chelsea the throw-in out of that occasion. I thought they were just going to give it to West Ham there for a second. They did give a Chelsea throw. Here's Palmer, their main man at the moment. Right wide to Sancho, again up against his former teammate. Slided into Palmer's path, linking up with Cucurella. And Palmer hitting the cross, blocked off the West Ham defender in there, so foul. It will be a corner to Chelsea. Lovely combination play in between the box there by Cucurella and Palmer. Nice one too. Palmer tries to go for the cross, well blocked by Sofal, and Chelsea get the first corner of the game on this left hand side, which Reece James will take in a moment when the referee sorted out whatever pushing and shoving was going on in the box. So Reece James, the Chelsea captain. Actually, we're just going to hold it again here because Emerson and Cucurella have got in the way of each other. Emerson, another former Chelsea man. Yeah, he's just kind of gripping Cucurella. I mean, they're holding each other, to be fair. It's just a bit dramatic, really. Get a grip. Just a bit dramatic. We will now have the first corner. It took us a while. Here we go. Reece James, right-footed, fizzed across the 6-yard box and up and away. And it's going to be a free kick for West Ham anyway. As West Ham get that little nudge in the box. Yeah, a bit of something on Aaron Wan-Bissaka there, we believe, is why that free kick was given. Long kick there by Areola. First header won by Colwell. So Fowl heads it back the way, which puts his defence under pressure and forces Kilman to send it long out for the Chelsea throw. Here's Cole Palmer coming deep to pick up the ball. Irving tracking. Palmer out to the right hand side now for Madueke. Palmer again dictating the play. Jackson trying to feed it off there to Enzo Fernandez, but well marshalled by the West Ham midfield. Here's Kudus facing his own goal. Nutmegs Jackson to get away from the danger there. Oh my goodness. Talk about risk taking for Mohamed Kudus. And here come West Ham down the left hand side. Here's Soler. Gives it infield to Irving. Back out wide to Soler again. Trying to go for the 1-2 with Irving. Irving going for the cross. But no one in the middle. And Philip Jorgensen will just gather for Chelsea. But again, it was risky play by West Ham in the midfield. But it actually works out. They find the space down the left-hand side. And Chelsea caught a bit of drift, not knowing whether to press or whether to step off. And their indecision allows West Ham to play the 1-2 between Soler and Irving down the the left-hand side. And then the ball into the box. Ends up going into the hands of the Chelsea keeper. But that was a good move by West Ham. A decent opportunity to get forward. Caicedo going route one over the top. Finding Jackson. A bit further to this right hand side, Nicholas Jackson, as he gives it back to Madueke. Back to James, who will whip one deep. And Wan-Bissaka had to get that header. Cucurella and Sancho were in the vicinity. Kudus had his pocket picked there by Sancho. He delivers it across and Jackson couldn't get a touch on it. West Ham clear their lines. A bit frantic at times from West Ham defensively. Bowen nicked off the ball by Caicedo. Some good challenging so far. It's a good battle inside the first 10 minutes. Here's Palmer. Out wide it comes to Madueke. Infield to James. But he's in the box. Not going for the cross this time. Goes low. Again intercepted by West Ham through Soucek. Now Irving. Down the left flank for Bowen, who's bundled over there by Moises Caicedo. And a free kick for West Ham United. Well, Chelsea have won the last 4 meetings between the two sides here at Stamford Bridge. The last time West Ham won at the Bridge was back in November 2019 when they won by 1-0, and Aaron Cresswell, who starts tonight as left centre-back for West Ham, he scored the winning goal in that game. The manager for Chelsea was Frank Lampard. Manuel Pellegrini was the West Ham manager on that day. But they've won 4 consecutive. West Ham have scored 1 goal in their last 4 visits to Stamford Bridge and have conceded quite a lot on those occasions as well, including a 5 they conceded here last season. So not a happy hunting ground for the Hammers in recent years. Cresswell trying to switch it. Going to find Wan-Bissaka. Well dealt with by Cucurella. Good touch in field though by Mohamed Kudus. Kudus. Cross now to Cresswell. Kilman. Has to turn back. As Jackson applies the press on Areola. Areola gets it away of danger. Irving brings it down in the middle. And there's going to be a stoppage in play here for a man on the ground, and it's Reece James. He's not particularly happy at this moment in time. I think he might have landed awkwardly. I'm kind of gathering. Let's see it again. Let's see the replay. Goes up for the header with Emerson. Oh, he kind of lands straight-legged there. That's a painful one. And he is okay, Reece James. It's not too uncommon for Chelsea fans to see their captain go to ground. Reece James, his 6th Premier League start this season. That's more than all of last season. That's incredible. How many games he missed last season. You know, the many injuries he's had. He's been plagued more than anyone else, really, in the Premier League for injuries. Chelsea have probably forgotten they had him in their squad, considering he was missing for so long. Tosin. Wide to Cucurella. What we see more from teams this season, when they're in possession, we see more that one of the fullbacks on a back 4 kind of drives forward, and then it sets up this kind of a back 3 with a midfielder in front. So kind of like a diamond back 4 in a sense, although it's given away here by Chelsea by that man in midfield, Caicedo, who was standing in front of that Chelsea back 3. Here's Irving. Now Cresswell. What I mean was that they kind of have that back 3 of Reece James, kind of Colwell and Tosin, the back 3, and then Cucurella is breaking forward into space. Here they come on the break now, Chelsea, as they win it back. Jackson finding Madueke. Noni Madueke hits it wide. Misses the target completely there, Madueke. It was a really good breakaway by Chelsea. It's Bowen gets caught on the ball, and Jackson does well, breaks away into the West Ham half and delivers it really nicely wide to Madueke, dribbling into the box, and you're just waiting for the far corner, for the ball to find the far corner, and it just goes round the outside of the post. It's a really good opportunity. Noni Madueke not able to find the target on that occasion. Of course, Noni Madueke scored 7 Premier League goals this season. He's actually got 2 in his last 2 games. Scored the only goal of that game against Manchester City last week for Chelsea. Chelsea under pressure there. Give the ball away through Jorgensen. very cheap giveaway. Madueke, as I said, 2-2 for him. Scored against Wolves and scored against Manchester City. But remember, he scored that amazing hat-trick against Wolves back in August. Scored 3 of Chelsea's 6 goals on that day. That was certainly his best day in a Chelsea shirt for Noni Madueke. Kudus trying to dribble his way through the Chelsea midfield. Almost successfully came away with the ball, but Madueke was there to track back and win a free kick there for Chelsea. Ball into the channel there for Jackson. Beating off Wan-Bissaka initially, but good recovery by the West Ham defender. As the Hammers have it back here with Cresswell. Now Kilman. Madueke on the press. Kilman calm on the ball. And now finds it out wide to Cresswell in space. Irving. Kudus back to Irving. Stride forward on the ball. To Soucek. Goes for the switch. Ball drops down for Wan-Bissaka on the overlap. Aaron Wan-Bissaka striding to the byline, cuts it across. And it's booted away by Tosin. And out for the West Ham corner. That was a real nice burst of pace from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Just skipped his way past Cucurella. And as he got to the byline, cut the ball back across the edge of the 6-yard box. No one in claret and blue there. But Tosin was the one that cleared it behind, and will give West Ham their first corner of the game. Looks like it's Cresswell that will take this corner for West Ham. This far right hand side. Cresswell, left-footed delivery, flicked on, bouncing around the box, Bowen! Just cleared off the line by Bjorgensen. He was alert. The Chelsea goalkeeper, and it needed to be. The ball came across the front post. It missed the head of Bowen initially. It then bounced back into his path from one of the Chelsea defenders. I think it might have been Caicedo that it bounced back off. And then Bowen from the narrow angle tried to sneak it inside the near post, and Jorgensen parried it behind for another West Ham corner. Cresswell to deliver once again. Another left-footed one, a bit deeper this time. A bit too deep, although it's kept down by Kudus at the back post. Whips it back across. Away by Tosin, and the shot from Irving is over the bar. Decent opportunity. It's good work by Kudus initially. I thought it just overrun the West Ham players in the box, and Kudus does well. Takes it down at the back post, gets it back into the danger zone, and as Tosin heads it clear, it falls sweetly for Andy Irving on the edge of the box to head it first time, and it was always rising over the bar on that occasion. A bit of news informing some Newcastle fans. There was news today that Lloyd Kelly will be joining Juventus on loan. That has now been confirmed. That's been announced by the Italian side. So Lloyd Kelly has joined Juventus on loan from Newcastle United. Of course, we'll be spluttering a little bit of transfer news, sprinkling a bit of transfer news on you this evening all throughout the night, and we'll do a recap of all the news stories at half-time as the deadline edges ever closer. Just less than 3 hours to go. 11 o'clock tonight is the transfer deadline. And we'll see who does a bit of late business, who keeps it to the very last, who does their homework the night before it's due, who does it. We'll see who makes those late moves, those late deals, because there's nothing quite like a late move on deadline day, is there? And we'll keep up to date if anything happens. 20 minutes gone here at Stamford Bridge, though. Still 0-0 between Chelsea and West Ham. I would argue both sides have had 1 or 2 half chances. I wouldn't say there's been really any clear-cut sight goal. Maybe Noni Madueke's chance is probably the best. He missed the target. Irving's is probably West Ham's best chance up to this point. Both sides starting to grow into the game, settle a bit more as the game has gone on. But let's really kind of dig deep into Chelsea, because this is a Chelsea side that at Christmas, or probably in and around December, was maybe hinted at. Could they make a little sneaky run for the title? Could they be an underdog? Could they be a dark horse in the title race this season? And it was seriously talked about. I'm not having a laugh. It seems a bit silly now to talk about it, considering how far they are off the title. But they were genuinely in the conversation for a while. But this poor run of form recently, in the Premier League especially, has them sitting just outside the top four. They will jump into the top four with a draw tonight. That would be enough because of their superior goal difference. But if we look at Chelsea's recent form, leading up till the 15th of December, they had lost just one of a total, if I calculate this correct, one of a total of 14 Premier League games between September the 14th and December the 15th. Since the 15th of December, which is about, what you would say, a month and a half ago, they've lost 3 games out of their last 7 in the Premier League, and that includes Fulham, Ipswich and Manchester City. They have won just one of their last 7 Premier League games, Chelsea. 3 draws, 3 losses and 1 win in their last 7 Premier League games. This drop in results, this drop in form, at the moment, has them chasing top 4 rather than a title. And it's quick how kind of the conversation can change, because for a while we were talking maybe Chelsea could be a sneaky one. They've kind of got their rhythm going. They've got a good side. And this one, Cole Palmer was knocking them in for fun, really, at times. You know, I remember that the Spurs game away, it was an incredible one. The Southampton game, even the Villa game here at Stamford Bridge. Some incredible performances from Chelsea early in the season. But since the turn of the year, since that tough Christmas period, and that's usually when we see the real hard work of sides, during that December spell is when you see either whether a side is a real deal or a little bit of an imitator. And I think Chelsea were that kind of got unstuck across the Christmas period, and they've kind of not really got back to the kind of consistent level up until that point, and up until now, really, from that point. As Madueke's cross, not fully cleared away there by Souček, or Sofal, needed Souček to help him out, but falls down for Sancho here on this left flank. Jadon Sancho trying to use his quick feet, chops inside, tries to go for the cross, well blocked by Kudus, who drops deeper. Chelsea have maybe started to take a little bit more control of the game in the last few minutes while I was speaking about them. Had a lot of the ball in West Ham's final third. Here's Sancho driving in field, skips past Wan-Bissaka. Jadon Sancho, well charged down by Souček. Tosin out wide to Madueke. Chelsea starting to turn the screw. James into the box. Cucurella's header is well off target from that position. Fullback to fullback, really, there. But Marc Cucurella playing much more advanced, almost as like a support striker in the box there, jumping alongside the likes of Max Kilman there, and his header. Quite clear that he's not a striker and not an aerially threatening player, let's just say, because the header was well off target and certainly not a concern for those West Ham defenders. Marc Cucurella has some links with the opposition manager, of course, played under him here at Chelsea when Graham Potter was the Chelsea manager, but also played under him when he was Brighton manager a number of years ago. Marc Cucurella and Graham Potter following a similar path in that front, moving from Brighton to Chelsea. Similar times that happened as well. Under Enzo Maresca, we've seen a lot more of Marc Cucurella since the Euros back in the summer of last year. We've really seen a real development of Cucurella's play, and you know, in that Euros winning campaign for Spain last summer, we saw a very different side to Marc Cucurella, a very different confident level, a level of confidence really from him, and he's grown massively in this Chelsea team since that point. Certainly proving himself at left back for Chelsea. Ball over the top here for Jackson, but his header let him down as the ball went miles away from his grasp. Well, he's now gone down here, which is not a good sign. That's Nicholas Jackson. I don't know whether it was an issue whenever he jumped for the ball there and kind of pulled a muscle or had a bit of an issue. Well, looks to be a bit of a worry. We'll just have a look. As he jumps, maybe he kind of overextends his left hamstring, maybe, it looks like, more than anything. It is a hamstring issue. It does look like he's holding his hamstring, so he will receive a bit of treatment for the moment. And I can update you, Middlesbrough signed Kelechi Iheanacho on loan from Leicester, I believe that is. Some interesting transfer news for you. But of course, we're still waiting on some big news this evening. That Nico Gonzalez is having his medical from Porto to Manchester City. He could be joining. It could be a big midfield signing if that were to happen for him. We're waiting the announcement of Marco Asensio. We're waiting to see what Marco Asensio can do there for Aston Villa. Of course, some big players as well involved in some big moves this evening. We'll keep you to date if anything changes. Nothing too much to really bring you recently, but just bring you up to date with a couple of those stories. That Nico Gonzalez one is going to be the big one of the evening concerning Manchester City, because they need that kind of depth in midfield, and at the moment that's where they've been struggling. But of course, Matthias Tell will be another big one, awaiting his confirmation of his move to Tottenham. What a U-turn that was. We are anticipating a change here for Chelsea. Oh, he's not actually going to make a change. The substitute Mark Gui was getting himself ready on the sidelines. But Nicholas Jackson is on the sidelines now, and he looks like he's ready to return. So doesn't look like Chelsea are going to make a substitution at the moment, but we'll keep an eye out on it. As Jackson is on the sidelines, waiting to return to the field of play. So Chelsea down to 10 for the moment. Here's Aaron Cresswell. Into Irving for West Ham. Kilman, as Jackson now back on the field of play here for Chelsea. Bowen trying to hold up that long ball in behind, but Tosin ushered it out for the Chelsea throw. 29 minutes gone, no goals, but I'd say Chelsea have looked more in control at times tonight. West Ham do have that threat. They've got the pace, they've got the quality. Cucurella rushed into a decision there, which put it out for a West Ham throw-in on this side. This near side. So foul. Back to Kilman, who narrowed himself there. Cucurella intercepting. Trying to go with a 1-2 with Sancho. Over the top it goes. And Kudus on the switch, which actually gave the ball away. Amadueke to Enzo Fernandez. And it's gone wide again. I was going to say there, it was a crossway ball by Mohamed Kudus, given away. Just goes over the top, catches out his defender on that side. He's picked up by Madueke. He drives infield, plays it through the lines for the on-running Enzo Fernandez, who tries to strike it across goal. And similar to Madueke's effort a bit earlier, it just goes narrowly wide of that left-hand post. But another good opportunity for Chelsea, and it all comes basically from a West Ham mistake, just a poor play in possession from Mohamed Kudus, and West Ham almost paid the ultimate price for that. Cucurella again breaking up the West Ham play. Casado goes back to Jorgensen. Doesn't look wholly confident at the moment, Philip Jorgensen. Has looked a bit nervy on the ball so far this evening. Fernandez. Now to Palmer. Back to Enzo Fernandez. Right, it goes to Madueke. Palmer. Couldn't find a way through. Past Soucek. Although that ball by Irving. Given away. And not able to keep the ball for very long so far, West Ham. Especially in the last 5-10 minutes. Just really struggled to keep any sort of consistent possession. When they win it back, they seem to just give it back to Chelsea right away. James, nice diagonal into the path of Cucurella, finding Palmer, who skips away from a challenge. Jackson, out wide to Madueke, who will cross it. Bouncing around the box still, falls to Jadon Sancho. Can he get a shot off? It gets it across, and it's put behind for another Chelsea corner, this time by Aaron Cresswell. Might have hurt himself there, Cresswell stretching to put that one behind. But it was good pressure by Chelsea. West Ham failed to clear their lines from the Madueke cross. The ball falls down to Sancho at the back post. You'd think he's going to try and shoot. He goes round the corner, goes through the legs of Wan-Bissaka and cuts it across the 6-yard box. And Cresswell's there to block it and put it behind. Again, another nice bit of play from Chelsea, and good at keeping the pressure on this West Ham defence. Corner for James, right-footed. Bouncing down. And it falls to a West Ham man in Soler. Although it's given away again cheaply by West Ham. Fernandez. And he's just given it away as cheaply as he got it, really, to Soler. A bit frantic on that occasion. West Ham not looking wholly confident from set pieces defensively. Especially crosses. It's where they're looking worried. Crosses certainly threatening West Ham so far. Chelsea not able to make the most of them just yet. There's signs of promise there. Here's James. Out wide to Madueke. Tries to take on Emerson. Last touch came off Noni Madueke. And Emerson will get the throw in for West Ham. Well, West Ham have had less than 39% possession. So far, they've had 2 shots and an XG of 0.06. Compare that to Chelsea, who have over 60% possession, 7 shots and an XG of 0.29. There was a cone on the field. Some white cones, which the referee, Stuart Atwell's not particularly happy that there's cones on the perimeter of the pitch. So therefore, they had to sort those out, and now West Ham will take their throw. Very strange, but okay. Let's have it here with Emerson. Cresswell trying to clear it there, and it came off Enzo Fernandez. Does bounce all the way behind for a goal kick to West Ham, but that's good intensity from Enzo Fernandez. They not allow that ball to be cleared by West Ham. 10 minutes to go with the first half here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, West Ham 0. It's a bit early to talk about this, but the last time there was a 0-0 between these two was back in at the London Stadium back in September 2018. There hasn't been a 0-0 draw in there last. If I had to calculate this, their last 12 meetings. There hasn't been a 0-0 draw. Home and away, that is, at Stamford Bridge or at the London Stadium. In that run, there's actually only been one draw in the fixture between these two, and that came also at the London Stadium back in February of 2023, with either side winning it in 11 of the last 12 meetings. So far, looks like both sides just kind of cancelling each other out in moments. Chelsea having more of the ball, Chelsea probably having the better of the chances, but West Ham doing enough defensively just to kind of stave off the Chelsea threat at the moment. And it's doing enough to keep Chelsea at bay, at least for the moment anyway. Free kick here for Chelsea after... Yeah, Carlos Soler kind of swiping a stray leg there at Enzo Fernandez. It was a foul. And Reece James just taking umbrage with the referee. Just making sure that he was aware of that and the severity of that little moment. How reckless that could have been from Carlos Soler. Just a free kick in the end, though. Here's Reece James. Switches it nicely to Colwell. Right through the legs, Jared Bowen there on that occasion. Tosin. Now to Reece James. Enzo Fernandez trying to dribble his way through the middle, but again, passing not working, and Jared Bowen trying to hold it up for West Ham. Gets a free kick, and it's nice here. That's 3 against him. So he's wanting a yellow card, Jared Bowen. The referee just having a word in the West Ham striker's ear. I mean, Moises Caicedo is a bit late there. He's coming through the back at Jared Bowen. You can see why Jared Bowen is a bit peeved, but a bit harsh. Well, that's a nice ball in behind. Kudus strikes straight at Jorgensen. Either side of the goalkeeper, and he could have been really in business there. It's a lovely little run in between the defence at Chelsea there, between Tosin and Colwell, between the two centre-backs from Kudus. He kind of strays off the back of Colwell, and as the ball comes forward, it drops nicely for Kudus, who strikes it, but straight at the Chelsea goalkeeper. Madueke to Reece James. Right, Madueke again, but West Ham just pushing Chelsea away at the moment, keeping them at arm's length. Enzo Fernandez with the ball in behind. That caused a problem. Sofal's clearance is not quite convincing, still bobbling in the box. Sancho, though, couldn't make as much of it as he probably should have. And Areola's there just to retrieve the ball. Some big news informing Chelsea, another outgoing on loan. A couple of their players going on loan. Chukwuemeka going out on loan. João Felix going out on loan as well. And it looks like Axel Disasi will be joining that list. We'll talk about that in a moment, because here comes Cucurella. Now Palmer. Chelsea still pushing forward. James down the right hand side. It comes to Madueke. Trying to dribble his way into the box. Trying to find Enzo Fernandez. Can't find his midfielder. And West Ham there to intercept once more. Seems like Chelsea have got all the control, all the dominance right up until that West Ham box, where they're crowding it out really well, the visitors, and not giving Chelsea the time and space to try and threaten. I can confirm, as I was saying, Chelsea defender Axel Disasi is close to making a loan move to Aston Villa, closing in on a loan move. Of course, Tottenham had interest in the player, but of course that interest ended earlier this afternoon, and Villa remained in talks with Chelsea And it looks like it will be Axel Disasi that will be joining them on loan until the end of the season. We'll wait on that confirmation, but that's the reports we're having, because here come Madueke for Chelsea on the counter. Here's Jadon Sancho into the box, and the shot just high and wide from Jadon Sancho. Nice idea, nice break again from Chelsea, ending in a good shooting opportunity, and it's kind of choreographed by Nicholas Jackson, who strides it forward into the path of Madueke, who drives across the defence. He just lays it off for Sancho, who cuts on his right hand, cuts inside on his right, and he just gets it, lifts it too high, and he just takes the ball away from goal and behind for a goal kick. Again, a decent move from Chelsea, a decent break. As I say, ending in a decent goal-scoring opportunity. Oh, that's a horrible back pass by Colwell. No foul, and Jared Bowen gives West Ham United the lead. How quickly a game can turn on its head, and how quickly and threatening Jared Bowen can be when he's sneaking in behind your defence. Levi Colwell incessant that it was a foul, but the officials don't agree, and Jared Bowen sneaks in behind like a ninja in the night and gives West Ham United the lead. Back in the team, back in the goals for their talismanic captain, Jared Bowen. Chelsea 0, West Ham United 1, and it's a horror show from Levi Colwell. Really poor defending, awful back pass. A defender's always going to claim a foul when he sees that going completely against him, and he has no excuses, Levi Colwell. It's an awful mistake. He'll not want to see the replay of it, but the West Ham fans are going mad, and their captain has got them the lead in the final few minutes of the first half. Chelsea 0, West Ham 1. And we're having a quick look at that VAR, but they have checked it and cleared it. I mean, to me, there was no hint of a foul. There was no lookings of any sort of tugging on Levi Colwell. It just seemed like he was panicking in the situation, tried to play the ball back to his keeper, completely underhit it, and didn't notice Jared Bowen being there. It's poor defending, not good concentration, and one mistake has West Ham ahead. Chelsea trailing, and probably they've been the better side of the first half, Chelsea. Jared Bowen there, fabulous play to win it back for West Ham again. Making his presence known and his importance known to this West Ham United side. What they are without him is certainly not the same as what they are with him. Has missed the last six games, but the last 5 Premier League games, part of that that Liverpool game as well. So he's missed the last 5 full games and last 4 Premier League games, Jared Bowen. West Ham have just won 1 of those last 5 games, and that was the 3-2 home win against Fulham. Lost away to Palace, drew with Aston Villa, lost away to Villa in the FA Cup, and then lost to Manchester City. Now, I'm not saying that if he was in the squads for those or in the team for those games that they might not have lost them West Ham, but the likelihood is that he would have got them more like in this position than anything else. We have some breaking news to tell you. We'll tell you that at half-time, because some interesting news involving Fulham. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Last minute of the first half here, and Reece James and Cole Palmer over a decent shooting opportunity, a decent free kick here for Chelsea. A good area, about 27, 28 yards out from goal. I'd say about 27 yards. To the right-hand side of the goal, slightly to the right. So it would benefit a left footer more than a right footer, to be honest. There's an issue here over where the ball should be placed. I don't know what that was all about. 3 added minutes at the end of the half then, while we're waiting on this free kick being taken by Chelsea. Here we go. Reece James and Cole Palmer over it. 27 yards out. Palmer hits. Palmer, oh, just over. Alphonse Areola with a claw. An incredible save. Fabulous. It just looked like it was dipping in the last second. And it's a wonderful save. Tipped over the bar by Alphonse Areola. Will be a corner to Chelsea, but that is ever so close from Cole Palmer. And the keeper certainly making his money there. Corner. Left-footed delivery by Palmer. Up in the air it goes. Flick down. Bouncing down. Cleared away by Soler. Calls a handball there. Nothing given by the referee. Is Kudus on the chase here with Caicedo. Right on the back of Caicedo was Kudus. And Moises Caicedo does very well in that moment to save off the pressure, as Tosin was almost caught out there by Jared Bowen. But West Ham not able to win the ball back. Chelsea have it here at the back. But 90 seconds to go in the first half. Chelsea 0, West Ham 1. Here's Palmer. Cole Palmer looking for a way through. Out wide it goes to Madueke. Drives into the box. Back to Palmer. Edge of the box. Looking for the shot. Not going to find it. Plays it across to Caicedo. Back to Palmer. Now Reece James. Madueke this time. He's trying to dribble his way past Emerson. Gets the space to curl it. Headed away again by West Ham. One-way traffic at the moment. Reece James to whip it. Headed away by Sofal. One back again by Reece James. Now Palmer. Out wide to James on the right side on the overlap. Reece James with a cross. Away by Soucek that time. Further cleared by Emerson, but again it comes back with Chelsea. And here comes Reece James again. Into Cole Palmer. Trying to stride and tried to shoot, but straight at the goalkeeper from Cole Palmer. And Areola, a much more comfortable save this time from Cole Palmer's effort. Gathers well. That was much better intensity from Chelsea. They seem to up the tempo since going behind. Maybe the goal kind of woke them up a little bit. They had got a bit complacent up until West Ham scored. And there is the half-time whistle. So it is a 1-goal lead for West Ham United under Graham Potter on his return to Stamford Bridge for the former Chelsea manager. Jared Bowen back in the West Ham team, and as always, back in the goals for the Hammers. He has West Ham leading by a goal to nil. It's Chelsea 0, West Ham 1 at half-time.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, West Ham United 1, and that man, Jared Bowen, the West Ham captain, is the one that has the goal from that Levi Colwill. Horrible back pass by Levi Colwill gave Jared Bowen a gift of a chance to give West Ham United the lead. It was probably in a time where Chelsea were probably dominating in that moment. Right, we have some news. It is transfer deadline day, and we're talking all the news stories to round up the deadline, with around about 2 hours and 10 minutes to go until the transfer deadline closes. A lot of action involving these two clubs that we're watching tonight on deadline day. Lots of information to bring you on both of those. And that's our breaking news from earlier on this evening. These are what we've seen, some headlines today. Have a read through those while we talk about deadline day and some big interesting news. Of course, in that first half we have the news that Villa have agreed a loan deal for with Chelsea for Axel Disasi. He will join the club for a loan of around £5 million, and they will pay 100% of Axel Disasi's wages until the end of the season. Spurs were in talks earlier this afternoon to sign Axel Disasi on loan, but they pulled out at the last minute this afternoon, and Villa remained in talks and have now agreed a deal to sign Axel Disasi on loan for Aston Villa. I said about breaking news for Fulham fans just before half time, and that is interesting. Another player that used to play for this club in West London, Chelsea, of course, Willian, is set to make a return to Fulham. The report is that Fulham are close to bringing Willian back to the club. The 36-year-old is a free agent after leaving Olympiacos at the end of December. Talks are advancing over return to West London for the Brazilian. So Willian could be back in the black and white of Fulham very shortly. We'll keep you very much up to date with that one. They've brought him back countless times now. Willian, he's been everywhere this in his career over the last few years. Some interesting news as well. Coming through to us, we're still waiting on some developments, of course, around the possibility of Manchester City signing Nico Gonzalez from Porto. The last reports were that Nico Gonzalez was having a medical this evening, so we will wait and see what develops from there. Of course, Matthias Tell, he's in London. He's been in London this afternoon, getting ready for his move to Tottenham. After just 3 days ago, he exclaimed it wasn't going to happen. He'd rather play for Manchester United than Tottenham. Well, he might have to eat those words in the next coming hours, because it looks like he will be joining Tottenham for a loan. We don't know whether it's a loan move or a permanent move. We're unsure about that at this moment in time, whether it's just a straight loan or whether an option to buy at the end of the loan for Tottenham. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that one for the young Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich. Of course, João Felix has moved to AC Milan on loan from Chelsea until the end of the season. Evan Ferguson has joined West Ham on loan from Brighton until the end of the season. A lot of loan deals this afternoon on transfer deadline day. One for Lloyd Kelly as well. He's made a move to Juventus on loan until the end of the season, and an obligation to buy at the end of that loan as well as another further development. That obligation is for an undisclosed fee. We're unsure what that fee is. It's not been disclosed, but the obligation to buy Lloyd Kelly at the end of that loan. Also some breaking news coming in involving another Chelsea player, Ben Chilwell. Of course, I said about Marc Cucurella really solidifying his place at left back for Chelsea this season. Well, it looks like they're looking for a loan move out of the club for Ben Chilwell, at least for the end of the until the end of the season. And Crystal Palace are leading the race there. It looks like that Ben Chilwell is closing in on that loan move to Crystal Palace until the end of the season. Reports believe that the deal is a straight loan, no obligation or option to buy. It's just a straight loan for Ben Chilwell till the end of the season. That is reporting. That's not done, but that is the reports at this minute in time. We will keep you up to date with anything that happens around the grounds, because it is quite interesting. And we'll keep up to date as transfer deadline day concludes right throughout this evening. 2 hours, 5 minutes and 24 seconds until that 11 o'clock deadline in the English transfer window. Right, and we'll bring you some breaking news while we talk about half-time. But it's been a very entertaining Premier League week so far. And anybody want to recap? Here's Matchday 24 so far. Matchday 24 so far in the Premier League. A recap of those 9 games that took place over the last 48 hours in the Premier League. Starting that lunchtime game on Saturday, that 7-0 win for Nottingham Forest over Brighton. As well, we're going to recap a couple of those games because there's some very interesting games over this Premier League weekend. It has been an incredible weekend in the Premier League. A lot of upsets as well. Some really unpredictable results this weekend in the Premier League. I'd say probably the most predictable, maybe Liverpool's 2-0 win over Bournemouth, is probably the most recognisable result out of any of those games, considering the form that those current teams are on, and considering their recent results and all that type of stuff. It was a Forest side that were beaten 5-0 by Bournemouth last week, won 7-0 against Brighton this week. An incredible result for Nottingham Forest. Chris Wood getting a hat-trick in that game to sink Brighton, and Forest to solidify their place further in that top 4 at the moment into 3rd as it stands. Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, as I said, probably the most predictable result of the weekend, beating Bournemouth by 2-0. Both goals from their main striker, their main man, Mo Salah. 21 Premier League goals this season. He's the Premier League's top goal scorer after 24 league games, and he scored both for Liverpool in their 2-0 win over Bournemouth. Bournemouth side who are in incredible form. 11 games unbeaten for Bournemouth heading into that one. Liverpool now on a 19-game unbeaten run since that defeat at home to Nottingham Forest back in September. Everton made it 3 wins in a row under David Moyes in his 4th game in charge of the club. A 4-0 victory over Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester. 3 goals in the first half, and Iliman Ndiaye made it 4 in the 90th minute to wrap it up for Everton, who've really welcomed their former manager in his second spell into incredible fashion. Southampton, well, they've had only their 2nd win of the season away at Portman Road on Saturday. They were leading that game, they were level in that game, and they led again to finish the game. 2-1, their first win under Ivan Juric and only their 2nd of the season. Fulham came from behind against Newcastle United to win at St James's Park. Bit of a shock considering Newcastle's home form and the way they've been playing as of recently. An uptick in form for Newcastle, but a defeat at home against Fulham shocked them at the weekend. Wolves beating Aston Villa. Wolves battling relegation, but didn't make that count when Aston Villa came to town in that Midlands battle between those two clubs. Wolves Jean-Richner Bellegarde with the opening goal, and Matheus Cunha with the late second to seal the game, and Wolves now outside of the bottom 3 after that victory. Spurs made it only their first win in 8, and they're only their 2nd win in 12 Premier League games yesterday when they beat Brentford for the first time on the road in the Premier League. Their 2 previous meetings were draws at the G-Tech, but a 2-0 win for Spurs yesterday. And we've heard some news this evening that Radu Dragoshin will be out for the remainder of the season due to an issue he picked up in recent weeks. So injuries not bettering for Spurs, but bettering in results, at least for 1 game or so. Crystal Palace made it 4 games unbeaten against Manchester United in the Premier League. 3 of the last 4 results have all been wins for Palace against United, and they got a 2-0 victory through Jean-Philippe Mateta with both goals for Palace on their trip to Old Trafford. And the big game of last night, an incredible game, a 6-goal masterclass. Arsenal made it 5-1 winners against Manchester City. One of the results of the weekend, and probably an incredible performance from Arsenal. 2 of their young stars in Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri with 2 of those 5 goals, sealing the 3 points for Arsenal to close that gap to Liverpool back to 6 points. But of course Liverpool still with a game in hand leading the way. We will show you the table and how it concludes after Matchday 24 at the end of this game we're watching tonight between Chelsea and West Ham. So we'll recap the full listings in the table a bit later on, but at the moment Liverpool still lead the way by 6 points. Right, it's 2 hours from the transfer deadline window closing. We'll recap some big information for you when we come back, as well as the second half between Chelsea and West Ham United at Stamford Bridge, where the Hammers are leading by a 0-0 at the moment. The second half's on the way very shortly. Do stay with us.
call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. The second half at Stamford Bridge on the way in just a moment. Don't forget about that. West Ham leading by a goal to nil at the moment. Don't forget though, we're back this midweek. It is already Monday night, but we're back on Wednesday nights as the Carabao Cup semi-final second legs decide who will be meeting in this year's Carabao Cup final on the 16th of March. Newcastle have a 2-goal advantage over Arsenal. They meet on Wednesday evening at St James's Park. And then on Thursday night, Liverpool look to overcome a 1-goal deficit from their first leg defeat against Tottenham on Thursday. Can Spurs get to another League Cup final, their last trophy they won back in 2008, or can Newcastle get themselves back into a Carabao Cup final and avenge that 2023 defeat to Manchester United? We will see. That's Wednesday and Thursday night here on LFS. Right, okay then. We're just short of 2 hours away from the transfer window closing, slamming shut. Here this evening, we'll keep you to date with all these transfer headlines right the way throughout the evening here on LFS, because we are looking forward to seeing what will happen. Some big stories. Matthias Tell to Tottenham. Nico Gonzalez to Manchester City. We will keep an ear out because we might have some updates for you before we leave you this evening in about an hour's time. Right, we're ready to get back underway at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against West Ham, and Chelsea have to come from behind if they want to take 3 points out of this one, because West Ham lead through their captain Jared Bowen's goal after 42 minutes. And Levi Colwill gifted him the ball in behind. Sneaking like a ninja in the night was my comment. I don't know whether that's correct, but I enjoyed it. I let myself go when goals go in, and I enjoy them. And we're back underway. Hopefully it's not the only goal of the night. Let's hope for more. We've had a good weekend of Premier League action. At least every game has had 2 goals in it this weekend. It's been a very entertaining Premier League weekend. A weekend quite even in the fact of home and away wins. 5 away wins and 4 home wins up to this point in the weekend. As West Ham want to break forward quickly, and Emerson swiping that one over the bar. Again, it was a long ball in behind. Kudus blocking off Colwill, and he gets the ball back a bit deeper after the ball came back to him from Bowen. Gives it out wide to Wan-Bissaka, whips it across to the back post, and Emerson takes it on the volley, and it swings behind for a goal kick, but good chance there right from the off for West Ham United at the start of this second half. Last thing Chelsea need is to go behind further in this one. Enzo Fernandez to Madueke. Given away there. Chelsea looked a bit weak in possession on that occasion. Madueke giving the ball away. Well, the defeat would see Chelsea continue to remain in 6th place in the table on 40 points after 24 games. They'd be level on points with Bournemouth on that level, a point behind both Man City and Newcastle. If they were to lose tonight, a draw would take them up into the top 4. A win would give them a bit of daylight in the top 4 against those other teams around them. West Ham with a win, as I said, would go up to 13th, above both Manchester United and Tottenham in the table if they could do such. It would only be their 8th win of the season, West Ham, and they are trying to push for that here. They'll be in 30 points, so they wouldn't be too far off the top half themselves with a win. Really congesting the Premier League table at this moment in time. Shows you how close the league is this season. If you're not Liverpool or Arsenal, you really are just right on each other's tails at this moment in time, and that's what makes it so competitive. That's what makes it so interesting as to who will finish where. Areola goes long here for West Ham. Header left by Souček. It fell for Kudus, who wins the throw-in. Wan-Bissaka back to Sofal. Now Kilman all the way back to Areola. Goes across to Cresswell. West Ham welcoming a bit of pressure there as Cresswell goes down the line. Tosin does well with his header, and Reece James gives it back to Levi Colwill. Chelsea want to certainly get off to a good start in this second half. They were actually in a good spell, really, up until they got a bit complacent on the ball midway through that half. Towards the end of the half, that's where West Ham became more threatening, but there's no real dominant spell from Chelsea overall in that first half. They just had more of the ball, but they weren't peppering the West Ham goal at any real point in that first period, as Madueke tries to weave his way through the defence there as Soler clears his lines. No foul. As West Ham give it away again. Here's Caicedo. Chips it into the box. Away by Sofal and flicked on by Souček, and he's going to get the free kick there for that collision with Cucurella. And a free kick to West Ham United there. One thing about Chelsea is, they are unpredictable this season. They have become a bit more unpredictable in the last few weeks. They were kind of hitting that form of consistency. I mentioned it in the first half, how once they were in the rhythm, once they were in the groove, they were kind of churning out results. But once it kind of they hit a brick wall, or they kind of had a bit of a stumbling block, they have really tripped their way through the last couple of games, and they haven't really got back to that consistent level that we've seen of them up until mid-December, really. And the last month and a half has been a bit topsy-turvy, a bit up and down for Chelsea. Tonight can be a night where they can really change the game and change their form. Get back on the horse again. Here's Cole Palmer. Wants to drive one. Well, blocked there by West Ham. Out wide it goes to Sancho. Again, trying to square it across to Cucurella, but his pass gives it away, and now Kudus wants to break. Trying to hold up the ball. Does well against Enzo Fernandez, who bundles Kudus over for the foul. It's really nice hold-up play by Mohamed Kudus again. He's done that a couple of times tonight, where he's got into a nice area of space and kind of dragged the Chelsea player with him, held up the ball, either won the free kick or passed it off into space for a teammate. And it's very good centre-forward play. And you kind of need, or kind of hold-up play. You kind of need that hold-up play when you are playing more counter-attacking, more kind of fast breaks type football. You do need that hold-up play to allow players to join the sole runner. That's lovely from Kudus in between the lines. Wan-Bissaka out on the right-hand side. Cuts it back for Sofal to cross deep. Soler couldn't get a clean header on it. Cresswell will shoot. But similar to Emerson's a bit earlier on, that was always flying over the bar for a goal kick. And no changes at half-time from Chelsea, but 6 minutes into the half, they're going to make a double change. Nicholas Jackson's going to be coming off. He's going to be replaced here by Mark Gui. And the second substitution is going to see Jadon Sancho leave the field, and he's going to be replaced by Pedro Neto. So Jackson and Sancho off, and Gui and Neto on for Chelsea here. So Enzo Fernandez maybe wanted to... Enzo Maresca. I knew I was wrong on what I was saying. I kind of clicked it there. Enzo Maresca probably wanted to assess how his side started the second half and then make a decision on substitutes, and that is exactly what he's done. 6 minutes into the second half, 2 subs for Chelsea to try and change up the way they're playing at the moment. I have to say, I've not struggled with a name like Marquise in a long time. 19-year-old Spaniard, joined from the Barcelona youth side, actually in July in the summer, for £5 million from Barcelona. Is making just his third appearance this evening. All sub-appearances in the Premier League. Hasn't yet to make a Premier League start for Chelsea, but another substitute appearance. Hasn't scored as of yet. Here is Kudus for West Ham on the brick again. Soler trying to make the space. James with a clearance, not fully dealt with by Madueke. Emerson, bit short to try and find Soler as it falls to Jared Bowen. He's nicked off the ball well by Caicedo, who tried to spin away for Chelsea. Now Palmer trying to dink it over the top, but the referee's just going to pull it back here for a foul on, I think it might be Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo, one of the two. I think it might have been Irving that committed the foul. Jared Bowen's just having a chat with the referee here about this situation. See it again. Caicedo, yeah, breaks away from Irving. Irving goes to ground. He then kind of tugs at Caicedo, and then Caicedo just shoves Irving to the ground. But bit of frustration there. But Chelsea got the free kick. Here's Reece James. Of course, Andy Irving making his first Premier League start this evening for West Ham. The 24-year-old Scotsman, he made it's his 9th overall appearance in the Premier League, but his first Premier League start for the Hammers in the midfield this evening. There's a foul off the ball there by Enzo Fernandez, which gets the Argentinian to make a bit of a laugh there. Yeah, he kind of just shoved Carlos Soler down off the ball there. It's needless. Maybe he was in his way, but at least Enzo Fernandez can see the funny side of that situation. A free kick goes the way to West Ham. Well, so far, I'd have to say, if we to really assess this game now, at this stage, what you would really say is the scoreline is deserved. Because, I mean, a mistake by Levi Colwill, it was well pounced upon and well taken by West Ham. So they took their big chance when it came. But one thing I've been really impressed with West Ham up to this point, they've not stopped Chelsea from having shots, because Chelsea have had 13 shots in the game. So they're still finding shooting opportunities, Chelsea. But one thing West Ham are doing is stopping them from having good shooting opportunities. So they're getting them in areas where they feel they're comfortable at defending Chelsea, and they're stopping them in those areas, keeping them in those areas, as I said in the first half, keeping them at arm's length so that Chelsea aren't having their way with West Ham defensively, and allowing Chelsea to kind of roam free. And West Ham are keeping them at bay. They've only had 2 shots on target out of the 13 shots. West Ham have had half the amount of shots that Chelsea have had, but have had more shots on target. So the point stands that, yes, they're getting shots off Chelsea, but they're not getting off, 1, in the right areas, and 2, West Ham are doing well enough to hold them out and to stop them from having good goal-scoring opportunities. And that's kind of frustrating Chelsea at this minute in time. It just takes a moment of magic. It only takes one little open space with the quality that Chelsea have to find that equalising goal, and the game can really turn on its head. Reece James with a forced ball through, blocked by Jared Bowen, and Soler trying to make a run. It's kept in, and Carlos Soler is away here. It's being held and tugged by Reece James. The referee says no foul, lets it play on. But he's now going to give the free kick because Moises Caicedo commits the foul. And he's going to give a yellow card here to Reece James for the earlier situation. So the Chelsea right back and the Chelsea captain gets himself booked. Because Carlos Soler was away there and Reece James was pulling him back. But the referee played the advantage initially. And then as Carlos Soler was fouled by Caicedo, the referee pulled it back and gave Reece James a yellow card. afterwards. And there's another free kick here for West Ham. Another bit of sloppy, frustrated play by Chelsea. And it's just more in kind of evidence that they are being frustrated. They're forcing passes. They're not being patient on the ball, Chelsea. They're getting really frustrated with the way that West Ham are defending them as they try and catch out Jorgensen from that free kick. That was sneaky from Cresswell. Soler eyed up for the cross, and then Cresswell saw Jorgensen off his line and decided to try and curl it in the near post, but it had gone wide. It's a nice idea by Aaron Cresswell, and he probably would have had a decent opportunity at getting it into the back of the net, but just not on target on that occasion. Again, Chelsea a bit haphazard at the back here. Kudus through to Bowen, trying to cross it. Well blocked. Bowen trying to rescue it in the box. Does so. Bowen still going. Jared Bowen dribbling his way through. Soler back to Jared Bowen. Still alive in the box. Wan-Bissaka. Very scrappy. Chelsea still don't have it fully cleared. Souček falls through here for Wan-Bissaka. Chips it across. Headed away by Colwill there. And Emerson can't find a teammate in claret and blue. As Madueke skips away from the challenger Souček. It's just opened the game up, that little frantic spell in around the Chelsea box. As Palmer gets kind of stumbled and the referee went over as well. Here the Chelsea come into the box. Neto onto his right. Well blocked. Oh, we have to see the replay of the referee stumbling. That was iconic. Palmer falls to ground. Palmer trips up. And then Madueke is trying to make a run through and he just shoves the referee. The referee get out of him away. Stuart Atwell takes a tumble. It's just that caught me there off guard. Tosun will hit one. Well over the bar. You could see it from a mile off. He was going to take that shot. Certainly kept it a surprise for no one. More changes afoot here for Chelsea. It's going to be Reece James that's coming off, and Madueke. So Christopher Nkunku and Malo Gusto are going to be coming on. So Nkunku and Gusto on, Madueke and James off for Chelsea. That's 4 subs made by Chelsea in this half, and we played 15 minutes of the second half. We have a bit of breaking news as well to bring you. From Portman Road. We'll get that news for you in a second as we hit the hour mark here at the bridge. So far it's been a lot of West Ham action in the final third in this second half. 4 shots, none of them on target for West Ham as of yet, but they are certainly pushing. We can't give you that breaking news now because Chelsea are in possession, so we're not really massively concerned about that. And I can tell you that this has happened. Ipswich have signed goalkeeper Alex Palmer from West Bromwich Albion for a fee of around £4 million. So Ipswich getting a goalkeeper in for Kieran McKenna's side. That breaking news from Portman Road. We'll keep you up to date with any more breaking news as it comes through to us this evening on transfers. Hopefully we get some big stories before the end of tonight. We are anticipating a few. Here's Palmer. Deep into the box. The target there that time was Nkunku, but just a bit too high for the Chelsea sub. And Christopher Nkunku sees the ball sail over his head and out for a West Ham goal kick. Well, I did say a bit earlier at half-time, Willian was making a move back to Fulham. Well, he's actually here. He's at Stamford Bridge tonight. So those reports may be very true because Fulham's just up the road from this one. So Willian will be joining Chelsea's very close neighbours once again very shortly. And we'll get an announcement on that surely very soon from the club, Fulham. He's in attendance against another one, watching another one of his former clubs tonight in Chelsea. I'm watching them losing at the moment. Trying their best to get back into the game. They've held the possession for a good distance since I've been talking. Again, they're dominating the ball, Chelsea, in West Ham's half, but West Ham are just keeping them at bay for the moment. Trying to squeeze a way through, but very compact from West Ham, and any sort of bobbling ball and around their box, they're just thumping it away. They're taking no risks. As Colwell comes across there, a bit overzealous on Jared Bowen. He had to kind of just shoved him to the ground to keep the pressure off his centre-back partner in Tosin there. Here's Malo Gusto. Out wide to Neto, who's come out to the right-hand side here for the moment. Neto to deliver. Flicking across. Bowling down for Enzo Fernandez. Cleared away. Neto into the back of the net. Chelsea have their leveller. Forced over the line by Pedro Neto. And he's got their leveller. They've had to work for it. They've had to fight for it. And the Chelsea sub gets them back on terms. And you can feel the release of tension around Stamford Bridge. Just a moment ago, I did make that comment on maybe Colwell filing Bowen off the ball. But as we see it here, West Ham don't really settle back into shape in time. Kind of Caicedo gives it out wide to Gusto, and Neto has the space on this right side. He's well watched, but he gets that little jink inside, whips it to the back post, and then all chaos ensues. West Ham can't clear their lines. They keep it in and around the box, and Neto picks it up at the back post, and there is no doubt he is absolutely thrashing this one. Full power, full pace, low and hard, right across the goal. There's not much that Areola can do. He's just trying to throw himself at it. And the ball finds the back of the net. However, there might be a VAR check. There is. VAR. Is Marc Cucurella offside? Is there a touch of a West Ham player? Oh, was there a touch of a Chelsea player? If Marc Gui has touched the ball, Marc Cucurella is offside, so therefore the goal cannot stand. It doesn't look like there's clear evidence that it hit his head, but we'll see it again from another angle. Doesn't look like the ball's changed trajectory. If I was Michael Salisbury, the VAR, I would... Well, looking at those pictures, if VAR need clear evidence that it touched Marc Gui's head, I can't clearly see the ball changing direction from it went past the head of Marc Gui. So therefore, I don't think it was a touch on the ball. But therefore, if it is deemed a touch, Marc Cucurella is offside and the goal will not stand. But I don't think they're going to do that because it doesn't look like it makes a clear touch of the Chelsea player. There's nothing in that either. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this goal. I think Chelsea might get another chance to celebrate here. Still checking it, Michael Salisbury. And the decision is a goal. So another chance to celebrate for Chelsea after that long VAR check. And the goal does stand from Pedro Neto. Chelsea might have been a bit nervous there for a moment, thinking, was there a problem? Maybe a bit of talk, or maybe there was a foul in the build-up quite a bit earlier in the build-up when Bowen was fouled. The referee saw no issue, and Pedro Neto has his second Premier League goal of the season in his 21st appearance of the season. His only other goal in the Premier League this campaign for Chelsea came in a 1-1 draw at home against Arsenal. Oof! I've just seen a replay of a horrid challenge from Enzo Fernandez there. He's got himself a yellow card. His 4th of the season, but that could have been very dangerous for the Chelsea midfielder. Feeling the feelings of a derby starting to be felt now. It's got a bit of needle about it late in this game. Cole Palmer's also been booked as well for dissent as well. So the cards coming out, as is the custom with a derby. Cole Palmer with a yellow card there as well. West Ham have a free kick in Chelsea's half here. A quarter of the game to go. Chelsea 1, West Ham 1. So we're poised quite nicely here late. Ball over the top. Bowen with a flick. Kudus in the box. On the turn, Mohamed Kudus shoots, deflected. Behind for a corner. West Ham trying to bounce back, trying to respond as quickly as they can to being pegged back here by Chelsea. So corner here for the Hammers. Their 3rd corner of the game. On this left-hand side will be Cresswell to deliver. Will be an outswinger. Left-footed. Flicked across. And lots of bodies in there from Chelsea. And the breakaway coming. Although Soler there to win it back. However, we're still playing. I thought there was a stoppage there for a moment. They're still playing as Irving's ball to the back post. Kudus hits it against the post. It was a golden opportunity for Mohamed Kudus. Fabulous delivery by Andy Irving. Whips it in fantastically. It would have been offside anyway. But it comes crashing off the right upright. And Kudus heads it a cross goal rather than, or tries to head it at the near post rather than a cross goal, and that's what sees it crash off the post. But it would have been disallowed anyway. He was offside, but West Ham showing their intent to respond. Not looking to cower, not looking to defend this draw at the moment. They're looking to try and go and find another goal to take the lead again. 20 minutes to go. Locked at 1-1. Gusto. Neto. Back in field to Malo Gusto. Tosin. Back to Malo Gusto again. Chelsea still trying to push and probe. Into Fernandez trying to burst down the right side. Emerson's got the beating of his pace, and Emerson does well there defensively. Gets the goal kick. When we talk about Chelsea's dip in form, it's been up and down for West Ham. They've lost 3 of the last 5 Premier League games, but those last 2 games where they've picked up results were under Graham Potter. The win against Fulham and the draw away at Aston Villa, where they were probably unlucky not to win that game, West Ham. But before that 5-0 defeat at Liverpool and that 4-game unbeaten run, they'd won 2, drawn 2. They've been up and down, topsy-turvy all season, West Ham. 5 defeats in their last 11 Premier League games. Substitutions here for the Hammers. Mavropanos and Scarles are coming on for Sofal and Emerson. So a double substitution here for West Ham. Ollie Scarles was given a big chance in the FA Cup game against Aston Villa a few weeks ago. Played on that night at left back in a back 4 for West Ham. The 19-year-olds given another chance here under Graham Potter in the Premier League this time. For the final 20 minutes or so here at the Bridge, along with Konstantinos Mavropanos. Another one of my favourite names to say in the Premier League, Konstantinos Mavropanos. I mean, what a name. Forget about how maybe good he is at football. Just the name alone is just fantastic. A reminder for you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. As you can see in the top right corner, if that's not mistaken, because sometimes it does overestimate it, but I do believe can I say that we've hit 25,000 subscribers, so it is incredibly appreciative. We're incredibly appreciative of each and every one of you who's joining us tonight. Great to have your company, and it's great to have you joining us here, joining LFS on this journey throughout the season. Here is Neto. Trying to switch the ball. Does find its way out to Christopher and Nkunku on the left. Palmer. Squares it across to Colwell. Now out on the other side is Gusto. Down the right comes Neto. Chelsea again. Sitting around the edge of the West Ham box. As Malo Gusto will whip one to the back post. Still alive. Cucurella delivers it back in. Gui was trying to push. Here's Palmer. Fakes the shot, has the shot well blocked, and Kudus tries to scramble it away as West Ham want to burst on the counter. A bit of a mix-up between Scards and Bowen. Gets Neto back on the ball. Scards left on the floor. Neto skips away. Pedro Neto loops it to the back post. All the way out the other end for Cucurella. Now Palmer. Palmer again trying to dribble into the box. Palmer across, forces it in! It took a wicked deflection, and Cole Palmer's initiative finds Chelsea a second goal. Maybe a slice of luck, but it doesn't matter. Cole Palmer driving into the box, using his initiative and energy, and gets his just rewards for it. Chelsea have been frustrated in and around the edge of the box all night by West Ham. And it's just when they dink a ball to the far post, Cucurella keeps it alive and Palmer spots a little bit of space. Drives into the left-hand side, and as he tries to cross it, it comes off the right boot of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, stretching. It just lunges. A lunge from Wan-Bissaka loops over the head of Areola, who was already committed to a dive to his left. He had no chance at saving it. And a slice of luck for Chelsea. But they've been probing West Ham. And they've been pushing for that second. And they have a second goal, which turns the game on its head and gives Chelsea their first lead of the night. Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka will not want to see that one again. 2-1. Free kick here on Palmer, given away by Andy Irving, who gets a yellow card on his first Premier League start. And Andy Irving gets his first yellow card in the Premier League. Sorry, his second yellow card in the Premier League. I realised they weren't exclusive to each other there while I was saying it. It's his second yellow card of the season for Andy Irving. And another free kick for Chelsea on this far left-hand side. As West Ham ready someone off the bench. Andy Irving has just given away that foul. He's just gone down here in the box. So maybe looking for a change, West Ham. Yeah, they're going to make a double change here. It's going to be Lewis Orford and Danny Ings are going to be coming on here for West Ham. But Chelsea have a free kick. Cole Palmer is the one standing over it. He won it. It looks like he's going to take it, but let's wait on these West Ham changes. So Carlos Soler is going to be coming off. He's going to be replaced by Danny Ings, and Andy Irving's going to be replaced by Lewis Orford. Lewis Orford, the 18-year-old Englishman in the West Ham Academy. He's made one Premier League appearance so far this season in their 2-0 defeat against Crystal Palace. Played 14 minutes in that one. And he's going to get about another 15 or so minutes in this one. The 18-year-olds. So some youth players coming off the bench for West Ham. They have a free kick to defend here. Left side for Chelsea. And Nkunku and Palmer over it. It'll be Nkunku to take. Right-footed delivery. Headed on, flicked on. Not good save by Areola. Not away clearly though. Nets out. Gusto will whip it back around. And the header. Last head off Colwell there. Goal kick. We see that free kick delivered again. And Kunku with a wonderful delivery. Tosin might have been offside, but I think, yeah, Mavropanos actually flicked it back towards his own goal. Might have been another own goal there. If Areola hadn't had his strong left hand, that really would have been a horrible one. Well, Chelsea have dropped the most points since Christmas from winning positions. They've dropped 10 points. Only Spurs have dropped more points when leading since Christmas, so they haven't really been able to hold on to leads since that recent little stumble, Chelsea. Let's see how they can hold on here in these final 10-15 minutes of this derby here at the Bridge. Well, they lead by 2-1. 3 points and a lead that would take them up into the top 4, and 2 points above 5th place Manchester City if they were to win tonight. 4 points off Forest and 7 points off second placed Arsenal with a win tonight. Chelsea. Here's Caicedo through the lines, finds Cole Palmer in a little bit of space, and Palmer hits it wide, and a part of this stadium thought it was in for a split second. I thought it was too. Lovely play by Caicedo. Not really seen much of that tonight, where Caicedo's played it into a tight little gap where Palmer's just broke into space, driven onto the ball and had the shot. So accustomed to seeing that for Chelsea. It's really the first real occasion we've seen it tonight, and that ball just goes wide of the post from Cole Palmer. Not often we see that from him, not putting the ball in the net from those positions. I do say a part of Stamford Bridge thought it was in for a second. There's no doubting Cole Palmer this season. 14 Premier League goals in 23 previous appearances. Obviously has played all and started all of Chelsea's Premier League games this season. Hasn't scored since the 2-2 draw against Bournemouth on the 14th of January. Had a very good December, did Cole Palmer. He scored 6 goals in December and got 1 assist. A goal against Palace, a goal against Fulham, 2 penalties against Tottenham, a goal against Southampton, and then a goal against Aston Villa as well. Had a very good December, did Cole Palmer. That wasn't his best of the season. He scored 4 goals in a 4-2 win over Brighton here back in September. Into the last 10 minutes, and well, could an own goal be the difference between the two sides? It's unfortunate for Wan-Bissaka, who's actually done really well tonight, and you got to feel sorry for him, because in that West Ham defence he's actually played well, but going at the back and going forward at times, he's had some tricky players to deal with tonight. But when it's Cole Palmer, you have to hope your luck's with you. On that occasion, the luck just wasn't really with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he just got caught out trying to block the cross. There's a stat I was reading before the game of former Chelsea managers returning to Stamford Bridge, and in the 21st century no former Chelsea manager has returned to Stamford Bridge and won on their return. It looks like Graham Potter is going to keep that trend going tonight, unless West Ham have a mad comeback here, because here comes Kudus. Mohamed Kudus into the box, tried to dribble his way in to the middle there, and he was well marshalled by the Chelsea defenders, and it comes back to Philip Jorgensen. See it again, Kudus dribbling away, Palmer on the return, and it's just Caicedo that nips in to steal it away from Kudus and get it back to his goalkeeper. Just a bit more settled from Chelsea on those occasions. They've actually had 20 shots tonight, Chelsea. West Ham have had their fair share, 10 shots. Both having 3 shots on targets. I think West Ham need to kind of push a bit further forward. They've got nothing to lose now. They're losing the game. They've just got to push forward and hope they get a chance, hope they get a late equaliser. It would be their third defeat under Graham Potter in 5 matches. His second Premier League defeat under Potter. Still awaiting that first away win as the West Ham boss. This is his third away game as the West Ham manager. A loss, a draw, and it looks like maybe another loss on the books for him. We'll see, of course, whether that's the case, as foul here on Mark Cucurella. It's going to get Chelsea a free kick. Wan-Bissaka this time giving it away. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka just trying to spin around and just catches Mark Cucurella a bit loosely there. Well, this could be a turning point, as I said, for Chelsea. They've had that real stumble, albeit in the Premier League, 1 defeat in their last 4, so it's maybe taken a little bit of an uptick since that 5-game winless run. But maybe it's just swung back in their favour slightly in these close games. As Neto tries to go for the cross, well blocked back there by Oliver Scarles. It will be a Chelsea corner. They've got a big FA Cup tie at the weekend. They head to Brighton on Saturday night for that FA Cup tie. 8 o'clock on Saturday night. An interesting time for an FA Cup game down on the south coast for Chelsea. And then they head to Brighton in the league 6 days later in next midweek. Next Friday evening after that. They've got a trip to Aston Villa as well. So 3 big away games for Chelsea to come in the next 11 days. Let's see how they do from this corner. 5 minutes of normal time to go. A goal here would certainly wrap it up. Cole Palmer just taking his time from the corner. I think he's picking bits of grass up. There, Cole Palmer. Left-footed delivery, deep to the back post, headed down across. West Ham try and clear it. Falls to Enzo Fernandez, tries to swing it back out to Palmer. Brought down beautifully by Palmer. Delivers it back across again. Away by Mavropanos, falls to Neto, who shot his charge down. Kudus not able to clear it in time, but Scarles there will get the clearance for West Ham. But again, straight back to Chelsea possession. Palmer, lovely drag back to take it away from Orford. Well closed down, although it's fallen to Neto here on the right side for Chelsea. Getting the bounce of the ball at the moment, or the home side. Fernandez, now Neto. Back to Enzo Fernandez, who will just manage the game now. Well, West Ham United, they've got a next couple of games. They're obviously out of the FA Cup, so they have a free weekend to come, so they can kind of recoup and get ready to go. For 12 days' time is their next game when they host Brentford the following Saturday after next. They then head to Arsenal, then Leicester, and then Newcastle in their next couple of Premier League games heading into March. So a period of time where West Ham have a lot of training ground time. They have a week between their next 3 games, more or less. There's another substitution here for West Ham. Just caught the end of that. It was Guillermo that came on there for West Ham United. Wan-Bissaka driving forward here for the Hammers. They haven't given up yet, though. Here's Kudus. Not able to find a way through Palmer there battling back. I have to say, it's actually Guillermo, and he will deliver a ball to the back post. Ings across. Bowen not given the chance to shoot, with Enzo Fernandez getting it away. Guillermo and Kudus, I have to say, they're very similar hairstyles. There, I have to be very honest. From a long distance, they look very similar. It's just Kudus was on that right-hand side, bursting away. He was very Mohamed Kudus-esque there. Guillermo, who has come on for Aaron Cresswell, by the way, for West Ham late here. Trying to add that extra little bit of attacking flair for Graham Potter's team in these last couple of minutes to try and rescue something. Two minutes of normal time remain. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Might just be another well hard-fought win for Chelsea here this evening. It will be Chelsea's 12th win of the season. It'll be West Ham's 11th defeat of the season if they were to lose, go on and lose this game. Substitution here for Chelsea then, and the man whose cross led to what would be the winning goal at the moment, Cole Palmer. Not directly getting his name on the score sheet, but maybe needs a little bit of a special mention, shall we say. He's coming off Cole Palmer, and he's going to be replaced by Trevor Chalobah here for the final few minutes, just to see Chelsea over the line. An extra defender on the field, just to get them over the line with this 3 points. Can confirm that João Felix has arrived in Italy to complete his loan move from Chelsea to AC Milan. Milan will pay his wages and a £5 million loan fee until the end of the campaign for João Felix. Here's Nkunku, tried to pass it across to Cucurella, but well stopped by Wan-Bissaka. Ings with a flick. Fernandez brought it down, but Scarles is going to try and swing it forward here for Bowen. He takes it down well and lays it off well. Now to Wan-Bissaka. Got Guillermo in front of him. Takes it on. Guillermo. Well blocked by Cucurella, and the last touch off the Brazilian. We'll see it be a Chelsea goal kick. And we'll have 7 added minutes. 7 more minutes. Some late drama here at the Bridge. They've certainly had an improvement in their home form this season, Chelsea. They really struggled at home last season in terms of their overall form at home. They'd lost 4 games at home. They've actually just lost 2 this season, of course. Won 6, drawn 4 and lost 2. This will be their 6th home win of the campaign if they can hold on for that. For West Ham away from home, they don't really have an awful record. It's really anything for West Ham. It's win, draw or loss. It could be any of the 3. They've drawn 3, lost 4 and drawn 4 of their previous 11 away games in the Premier League. This would be their 5th away defeat of the season. It isn't the worst in the league. To be honest, certainly not the worst in the league. West Ham won't be too panicked to the fact that if they do lose this game, but they know there's winnable games to come. They know there's much more winnable games than a trip to Stamford Bridge, where they haven't won in almost 6 years now. They will still find themselves 10 points clear of the relegation zone. Not really looking down, or West Ham. They're trying to look upwards, and they could have been 2 places higher than what they are at this minute in time if they'd have got a win here tonight. Of course, as hard as it is, even a draw would put them up a place above Spurs if they can snatch a late equaliser. But Chelsea are playing at the moment. Looks calm from them. Here's Neto. Wants to add a third to really seal the deal. Still alive. Gui. Gusto. Cucurella. Couldn't control it on the edge tonight. West Ham want to splash away with Kudus, but no real room to break into, as Chalobah does well to evade the press. Now Neto down the right side. 4.5 minutes remain. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Fernandez has to go all the way back to Trevor Chalobah. Just no real hurry. Our Chelsea here. This is what you call game management. Gusto. Back it comes to Tosin. Well, a reminder for you, don't forget the Carabao Cup semi-final second legs are in this midweek. Wednesday and Thursday night we start with a trip to St James's Park as Newcastle take on Arsenal. Newcastle already a 2-goal lead from the first leg. As here's Neto. Gui falls down in the box. Tried to shoot and just fell, and he's hurt himself in the process here, Mark Gui. But here comes West Ham on the counter. Guillermo breaking down the right side, lays it off to Jared Bowen. Bodies in the box. Bowen cuts it back. Kudus on the spin. Good challenge in the box there. Bodies on the line from Chelsea. And now Enzo Fernandez tries to burst away, but that was a very good chance for West Ham on the break. So here's Christopher Nkunku. Gui is still down in the box. The West Ham box, that is. Oh, given away. Oh, tried to go for that long-range effort. Jorgensen, under pressure from Kudus, tried to go for the long ranger. Completely mishit it. And then, I don't know who that was that took the shot from distance for West Ham. It might have been Ings. Tried to take it from distance and didn't catch it well. What a challenge from Tosin. Incredible in the box from Mohamed Kudus on the turn. That's a game-winning challenge. Bodies on the line. As Mark Gui there gets back to his feet eventually. 2 minutes of the 7 to go. There's still time. West Ham still have the energy. Do they have the end product? Souček. Ings in behind. Bowen. A lot of bodies there. Colwell comes away with the ball to clear it away. Maybe too many cooks on that situation. 2 or 3 West Ham players were desperate to get on the ball. Colwell was the one that came away with it and cleared it of danger. Is there time? Well, I know the answer to that one. There is time. Wan-Bissaka eyed up the long throw. Isn't going to take that option. Gives it back to Orford, who will whip it into the box. Flicked on by Mavropanos, but that one is no threat to any respectable goalkeeper, that one. Some comfortable grab for Philip Jorgensen. He's done well tonight, Jorgensen. Not really called into action many's a time. Maybe Enzo Maresca just trying to figure out who's the better of the two goalkeepers at the moment. Either Robert Sanchez or Jorgensen. Last minute of the 97, that is, 97 for West Ham. Can they snatch it at the death? Down the left it comes. And that's well cleared away by Malo Gusto. We might get one last chance here, West Ham. Scards with a throw in, ticking quickly. Here's Guillermo. Goes it off to Mavropanos. Steps in field, will shoot low and hard. But straight again at Jorgensen. No respectable goalkeeper will be tested from that type of situation. And that looks just like that will be that. I'm waiting on the final whistle. Enzo Maresca trying to hurry up the officials. As the ball's still in move here. And there it is, the final whistle for Chelsea. They've come from a half-time deficit to take all 3 points in this London derby. West Ham were looking like it was going to be a good night for Graham Potter's team on his return back to Stamford Bridge for the former Chelsea manager. But he doesn't break the record that's been standing since the start of the 21st century. No Chelsea manager has won on their return to Stamford Bridge and as an opposition manager. And that continues tonight. Jared Bowen might have got his goal out of a bit of luck for West Ham. They looked like they were frustrating Chelsea and holding them out on the night. But a breakthrough from Pedro Neto and an own goal from Aaron Wan-Bissaka was a slice of luck that Chelsea needed on the night. Final score at Stamford Bridge. It's finished Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1. And there we are. That is Matchday 24 done and dusted. 5 home wins, 5 away wins over this Premier League weekend, and we conclude with another very tight game in a London derby. Let's round up the Premier League weekend and show you the table before we leave you tonight, and some recap on the transfer news that we can tell you about, and we'll talk about that before we leave you in a matter of moments. Nottingham Forest put 7 past Brighton on Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool made it 19 games unbeaten for Arne Slot's team and a 2-0 win over Bournemouth. It's 3 wins in a row for Everton under David Moyes since his appointment. Southampton won only for the second time this season on a trip to Ipswich. Fulham came from behind to beat Newcastle at St James's Park. Wolves put 2 past Aston Villa and held them to nothing on the day, and Wolves escaped the bottom 3 with that big 3 points. Spurs get back to winning ways, their first win in the Premier League in 8 games, and only their second in 12. Crystal Palace, 4 games unbeaten against United, having won 3 of their last 4 against the Red Devils. And Arsenal put Manchester City to the sword in that huge battle yesterday afternoon at the Emirates, winning by 5-1. And tonight we finish with a Monday night action, a London derby between Chelsea and West Ham, which has saw Chelsea come from behind to take all 3 points against their former manager Graham Potter. Right, let's show you the table then and see how the Premier League table looks after 24 games as we edge closer to that definitive kind of final stretch of the season. Still a couple of months away, but the games are dwindling, but it looks like Liverpool are not going to be giving up the top spot anytime soon. They're still 6 points clear in front of Arsenal after their 3rd win in a row for Liverpool. 5 games there, as you can see, 3 wins, 2 draws, 19 games unbeaten in the Premier League for Liverpool. Arsenal in second on 50 points. They're also unbeaten in their last 5 games, as you can see there. Forest in third, sustaining that place in third quite incredibly with 7 goals against Brighton at the weekend. 47 points for them. Chelsea move up into the top 4 tonight with that win over West Ham, leapfrogging both Newcastle and Man City as they both drop a place this evening. They're making up the top 6. Bournemouth up to, staying 7th despite that defeat of Liverpool. Villa also lose this weekend. They stay in 8th, but Fulham close the gap to those teams and move up to 9th with that victory over Newcastle, and Brighton make up the top 10. Into the bottom half, Brentford are in 11th. Crystal Palace in 12th. They move up the table after that win over Manchester United yesterday. They move above the team they beat yesterday in Manchester United. They're in 13th. Spurs move up a place into 14th after their victory over Brentford. West Ham tonight could have went above both Spurs and United, but failed to do that after not being able to hold on to that half-time lead at 15th for them. Everton in 16th, but they have really left those teams below them in the dust with their 3 successive defeats. Has them now a good distance clear of the drop zone. 9 points clear. They would be in the drop zone if it wasn't for those 3 wins in a row for Everton. Wolves just outside it after their first win in a while for them, as you could see there. 4 defeats in a row there before that victory over Aston Villa. And the bottom 3, Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton. That's it. Then we have got midweek action, as I mentioned. The Carabao Cup semi-final second legs. Newcastle take on Arsenal. Newcastle holding a 2-goal lead heading into that second leg after that big game, that big win at the Emirates a month ago. And Liverpool, the holders of the competition, have a deficit to overturn against Ange Postecoglou's Spurs, who maybe have found their way back to winning ways. That's on Thursday night from Anfield. Right, before we leave you, some interesting transfer news to bring you on deadline day. Fulham have agreed a deal in principle to bring Willian back to the club. We've seen him at Stamford Bridge tonight, so he's certainly in that area of London. Rob Holding has joined Sheffield United on loan. Southampton's move for Abakar Sela has collapsed late on there, so not only at their terrible season in the Premier League not going Southampton's way at this moment in time, but we're still waiting on those two big possible moves before the window closes. Matthias Tell to Tottenham, and of course Nico Gonzalez possibly going to Manchester City. Those are the two big stories, and keeping your ear out. We'll let you know. Keep it to date with the transfer window before it closes in less than an hour's time. That window closes in about 59 minutes' time in that one. But that's it from us tonight. Another weekend done and dusted, and a Chelsea getting back to winning ways after that defeat to Manchester City last week, and coming from behind to put West Ham to the sword against their former manager, Graham Potter. Night night.